Sure. Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity. I always enjoy doing this because it reminds me what I should be doing if I'm not doing it. Lisa also is on with me today. She is going to be the seller when I'm doing my listing presentation. And my listing presentation is from an experienced agent standpoint. And then Lisa's is going to be from like a new agent. So how many new agents do we have on here? New meaning 6 months or less. Katrina, okay. Okay, well, good. Well, hopefully you will be able to go out and use one or both of these. It all depends upon with me who my client is, whether I go through a detailed marketing listing presentation and or if they are more, it's according to their personality. And that's how I determine which presentation I use, because I know when someone comes in my house wanting to sell me something, I'm just like, okay, just show me the bottom line, just show me the bottom line. But then you have those that want every little thing answered, okay? And Lisa and I both welcome your questions. So Lisa, you ready? Let's get started.
Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm rocking and rolling.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you. What's your, let's see, can you be Miss Youngblood today since we're doing the Youngblood house?
I'm going to be a Youngblood. I'm so excited. Here we go.
And I'm going to pretend your husband's with you, okay? Okay. Well, hello, Mr. and Miss Youngblood. How are you doing?
Doing good today.
Good. Well, I'm so excited to be here and be able to do this through the Zoom. I know that you had lots of concerns about the COVID-19, and we want to make this as comfortable as possible for you, and I think this is a great way. Now, have you ever been on Zoom before?
No, not really. My kids have, but I don't.
Okay. Well, what I want to go over is a couple of housekeeping things. If you run your mouse across the bottom, you'll see where it says chat. And that's where if you want to put something in the chat on the side, you can do that. And then it says participant. That's where you can click to raise your hand. Okay? Either one of you. So now I left a packet at your front door last week.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it had the seller's property disclosure, it had the HOA disclosure, and a form for you to fill out about the house and about your personal stuff, you know, like your birthday, anniversary, your pets' names. So you did look at that. Do you have any questions?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know where to get, you know, some of the information though.
Okay, well, I'll go over that with you. I also included my profile and a history about my business. Do you have any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay, great then. Also, I left copies of a as-is contract, the FAR bar, and I left the standard FAR contract. Did you have the opportunity to read over those?
No, not really.
Okay, well, I'd like for you to do that, and we can discuss it on the telephone call later. But the reason for that is because you, the seller, can tell the buyer's agents what kind of contract you want your offers written on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the as is, you're selling the property as is. They do have a right to inspect, and they can cancel if the inspection's not up to what they want it to be, okay? And the standard is totally different from that. Okay, have any questions so far?
What are the differences in the two contracts?
Well, that's what I was just saying. The as-is contract is exactly that. It's as is. People are agreeing to buy your house as is, but they have a right to inspect it. If they don't like anything about the home, they can back out. Okay.
Okay.
Then the standard contract is totally different from that. And so keep that in mind. And we'll go over that and over the phone too if you want to. But what we're going to achieve today is pricing the house, marketing the house, and listing the house. Agree?
Okay.
Great. Well, let's get started. Tell me about pricing. Now, nobody knows your house like you know your house, right?
Right.
So tell me what you think we should list your house at if we put it on the market today.
Well, I know a neighbor down the road, they sold their house, and I've done a lot more upgrades than they have, and they sold their house for 340. So mine definitely is worth more than that. So I was thinking like, it has to be like 350 or maybe even more than 350.
Okay. And you say that's because of the upgrades that you have. And tell me a little bit about those upgrades.
I did my kitchen. I have granite in my kitchen, and we've repainted the cabinets, and we've repainted the house.
Okay.
Mhm.
Interior and exterior, or just one or the other?
Just interior.
Okay. So. Okay. And do you have receipts from where you had that done with the cost to you?
Well, we did most of the work except the granite.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's look at your competition. And the competition, these are the homes that are active in your community. And there's enough in your community that we don't have to go outside the community to get comps, okay? Or your competition. So let's look. If you hang on, I'm just going to share my screen here. Now, can you see that? Okay, so you're in Deerfield Lakes, right?
Yes.
Okay, there's a couple of things about this listing that I want to show you. This one's listed at $299. It's been on the market 58 days in a seller's market. Now, this home has 2,078 square feet, and your home has 2,043.70 square feet. Well, we'd say 2,044 square feet. Okay, so this would fall in the 20% that we take away and the 20% we add. Now, when I say that, that means we take the square footage of your house, which is 2554. We take 20% of that and subtract it from 2554, and that gives us 2,044. So this one's going to, on those low end, going to fall in to where it should be. Then on the high end, it's going to be 3,065 because we added that 518.80 back into it. Okay, so the range that we're looking for today is between 2,044 square feet and 2,065 square feet. Sound like a plan? Now, you see this has been on the market 58 days in the seller's market. You know what that's telling me?
What?
It's telling me that this home is priced too high. And it even had a price drop. And this is something I don't like. It was listed at 310. Something I don't like and I wouldn't do to my listings is right here, price drop. That's the first two words in this public remarks. So everybody looked at this home, they're going to see price drop. And they're going to be, oh, shucks, there must be something wrong with this house. That would be my first thoughts. Would that be your first thoughts?
Definitely.
Yeah, so we don't want it to be on the market 58 days. So that goes back to our pricing. Now, the next home that is going to be your competition, this one's a little over, but anyway, it is an active listing in the community. So therefore, it's going to be a competition. Now, this one has 3,231 square feet. And it's priced at $309,900, and it's been on the market 35 days. Now, to me, it's a 6-bedroom. It's $95 a square foot. Now, this one says price just improved. What's that going to tell you? I don't care if you say price drop or price improved, it still doesn't look good. And this one started out on the market at $319,900. So why is this home not selling? It's priced at $95 a square foot, 96. I'm going to say it's because it's a 6-bedroom and not many people are looking for a 6-bedroom home. Okay? Make sense? Any questions?
Yep. Nope.
Okay, now this home is a 5-bedroom home, priced at $109 a square foot. It's been on the market 27 days, and it's listed at $339,000. And it has 3,098 square feet. So that falls within, might be just a little bit over about 50 square feet of what we're looking for to be comparable to yours. So we wonder why this house hasn't sold automatically, immediately. I will tell you that even at $109 a square foot, this home is overpriced. I did a price analysis on this home, and it didn't come to $339. It was less than that. And here's an active listing, $370,000 at 3,889 square feet. That's $95 a square foot. And it's been on the market 142 days.
Wow.
And now why? We don't know, except that it is a pre-foreclosure. But look at the pictures of this home. They're very nice. It's very clean, very open. You know, everybody wants that open floor plan. But I will tell you, one drawback could be that you see the fence in the backyard. When we go through here, hang on, let me get to it. Excuse me. You see it looks like it's been well taken care of, but it doesn't have a screen. And then you look at the backyard. I think the backyard, number one, is the issue with this home. And then it does have a fence, and I wanted to show that. The back fence, it's not going to show. The back fence actually backs up the Suncoast Parkway. So you're going to have lots of traffic there. So that's the only reason at $95 a square foot that I can think of. So do you have any questions about your competition?
No, it seems like there's a lot of competition.
Yep. You've got 4. And as quickly as the market's moving, we're going to have to be smart with your listing and your pricing, okay?
Okay.
We don't want it sitting here 142 days. So now let's look at pending. I think there was one pending. This home was on the market 5 days. Now, this home was priced at $109 a square feet, but guess what? This home has a pool. Whereas the home that was $109 a square foot, did not have a pool. And you see it's got water frontage, very nice, very well taken care of. This belonged to an elderly couple. I'll get back to the pool because I always like to look at the pools. So comparing this house to yours, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, our house is clean and it's picked up. So.
But you don't have a pool, right?
No, we don't have a pool.
Okay, and then on your lanai, do you have the tile like this, decorative tile?
No, it's just concrete, but it is screened.
Okay, good. It's screened like where the lanai stops, yes. Or did you extend the lanai or anything like that?
No, it's just under the lanai.
Okay, okay. That's pretty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this home sold at $109. Well, I can't say that because it's pending. We won't know what this home sold for until it closes. And it's scheduled to close on 9/11. And it's got 3,374 square feet. Okay, now we're going to get into the nitty gritty, the sold properties. And this sold in March. And what do you think about that picture?
It doesn't look like they had a professional person take it.
The yard's pretty. This is cut off. And so we don't want that to happen, right? We do not want that to happen to us. That's pretty attractive. Now they've got tile here and wood floors here. This looks like the new vinyl flooring, just like we put in our home. However, this is a little dark back here, don't you think?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want me to do pictures like that on your house, would you?
No, definitely not.
That's pretty. That's a lot of blue. That flooring is pretty. So to me, I'll be honest with you, if I saw this house just online, if I was purchasing, I wouldn't want to see it. I would not want to see it because I'd be like, oh, I don't want to see that. It looks, and it's actually sold for $223,000, and it was a 1644 square foot home. Somebody wanted it bad. Now this is on Oak Ramble. You know where that is. You live here. This does not fall within being in a comparable for you because the square footage isn't good there, and neither did the last one. Okay. This one's 2016. It's over 243. That's $120 a square foot. That is good, even though it was on the market 64 days, and it was listed at 250. So you get the gist of what I'm showing you here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look for one that's more comparable. Here, 2170 square feet. Now, this was a real estate owned property, meaning it was foreclosure. The bank owned it. But it sold for $117 a square foot. And that's within your price range there. I mean, square footage range. That is not. This one is on the market for $269,900 and sold for $269,900, 1918 square feet. So now as you see these, let's look at this. As you're seeing these, what are you thinking price-wise?
Like oh, that's pretty back there. We don't have that upgrade.
Isn't that pretty? That helped sell that house. It did. That's nice and open and airy. And we want photos like this for your house, professional photos done, and that's what we do. Now I'm going to show you one. You said somewhere around 350 you felt like? Okay, let me show you a house. Let me find it here. This one just sold in our community. Oh, now this, I do want you to see this one. This one has 2623, and that's pretty close to yours, right? It's listed for 314, sold for 305, and it had a pool. Look at this home. Very well kept, very nice. A little cluttered there. I want to get to the pool area of this one. That's pretty. So I could show you this on paper all day long, but I want you to actually see what we're talking about instead of trying to imagine what we're talking about. See how pretty that is?
Yeah, it's nice.
Isn't that pretty? And that one sold for $305 with the pool. Okay, not that one. That one was 33. That's outside yours. Now this one sold for $345, and it had a pool as well. Okay, this is the one I want you to see. A $350,000 home. It sold for cash, less than 2 hours. 4 bedroom, 3 bath. And this has a beautiful pool. The buyer on this home even purchased, it was cash, and she even purchased everything in it, down to the forks and spoons. She did. This is the way we want your photos to look. Look at that blue, how that pops. You have any blue in your home?
We have red.
Oh, great. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? Actually, this home's right across the street from me, and I wanted it. because of, I'm going to show you, wait for it, come on, here we go, wait, there we go, look at this, it starts here. I actually sold this home. Isn't that pretty how it pops? Look at that, outdoor kitchen, pool, extended lanai, you got your TV, it's got a hot tub, or a spa, excuse me. And then this is a fountain, and this sold for $350. So now after seeing this, and these are homes that an appraiser is going to use to appraise. If we get, that's pretty, isn't it? If we get a financing contingency in an appraisal contingency on the contract and offer, then it's going to be appraised, your house. And your house is right across the street from this one, correct?
Correct.
So tell me now what you're thinking.
Well, now I'm thinking one of the houses that we saw that had a pool, like they had the granite in the kitchen like I did, and it was cleaned up and nice, but they had a pool. So I don't know like what the difference is in selling one with or without a pool.
Well, pools come in different shapes, sizes, and prices. And that's where an appraiser will look at and give you credit or take away on what it will cost. And I'm thinking somewhere around $20,000 is the most they're going to give you on a pool. But I got another program that I'll show you what that will do, okay? For you. Okay? So let me ask you one more time. With what I just showed you, what are your thoughts about what you think this home's going to sell for?
Well, I don't know anymore because I thought one thing, so I just need to ask you where you think that we're going to be.
Okay, I'm going to show you exactly where I think we need to be. I'm going into another program, so bear with me here. I want to get rid of that. I'm not a technology person. Ask my husband. Hang on just a second. And I want that. I don't want that. I want this. Okay. So this is called RPR. And this is a program that our MLS has that we can take advantage of. And as you will see, I've already put in your 4-bedroom, 4-bath. It's a 2014 home, 2 stories. And this says 2562 square feet. It's actually 2554. So let's see if we can, 2554. There we go. I hope that works with me. I never know. Okay. So that just took off $806 of what we were hoping this home would sell for because of the square footage. Okay. Now let's come down here and look at the new flooring. You told me you had new flooring, and I put that in. And you said you're getting a front door maybe, but we don't know that you are because you don't have it yet. So we can't advertise that yet. We can't count that in yet. So this actually gave you credit for the whole $25,000 you told me you put on the floor. And then down here is where I put that it's average to another home, equal to another home, blah, blah, blah. So that gave you a credit of $78.82. So that's putting us at, let me move this out of the way, $321,076. So adding that 25,000 square feet, flooring helped you. See that? So what are your thoughts now from, you were saying 350, but this is telling us more about what it is.
Right.
You agree?
I mean, it's right there in numbers in reality.
Right. Exactly. And what I would say we could do, because we know even with today's market being a hot market, that we want to put this up to 325 in case somebody is wanting to negotiate down. We still want to hit somewhere around that 321. We know that's our number. And then we put it at 325 and someone comes in and says, we'll pay cash. We want it. We love it. Then you've made a few more bucks. So I'm thinking that 321 is where we need, 325 is where we need to have it so that it'll fall in between 320 to 325, 325 to 330. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good. Now let me see here. Let's go back. I have to get back out of here. You doing okay? You need any water or anything?
Oh, I got my water. We're good.
Okay, good. Now let me go back out. Shucks. I don't know where I was going. I'm sorry. Oops, I lost you. Y'all see that pretty water? Hang on, I gotta get back out of here. Let me see. I gotta find y'all. Oh, here you are over here. Now, okay, so we've talked about that, and we're looking at 321. We both agree on 325. Or we all three agree on 325. So now let's talk about marketing the property. What we're going to list it at 325. What are we going to do to get it sold? We're going to work together in getting it sold. First of all, we'll have professional photos. Just like the photos your house, the photos on your home are going to come out looking as beautiful and crisp as these. And I know you told me that you keep your house straight all the time, that there's no clutter or nothing like that. But look at this. And the red in your house will probably pop like the blue in this house, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, great, wonderful. So we'll do the professional photos. We'll do the drone. We'll do a 3D tour. And I want to show you that. If you hang on for me 1 second, can you do that? And let me find the 3D tour. I want to show you how this is going to sell your house. And you should never work with an agent who is not on top of technology and how to do things. So there's your front yard. We're going to walk up. We're going to go into the home. There's your, isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not really good. I would never make a airline pilot. I would never. Look how pretty that is. You can just walk through the home, right? So we're going to do this to your home, to your house. That was actually the master. Let me see if I can get over here. And this is called a 3D tour. And this is what we're going to use in marketing to sell your house. We do Facebook, social media ads, and we don't just put it on my Facebook page. I pay to have it hit as many people as we want to have it hit, which is many. And of course, we have got to talk about an open house, and we've got to talk about showing the home, because I know you are COVID-19 fearful of it.
Yes.
So are you going to want people in the house?
Well, yeah, because we need to sell. So I just want to have rules, you know, and I don't want, I just don't want just anybody in here. So.
Okay. Well, I'll have control over that, because in the MLS, I tell other agents they must contact me in order to preview this home. And I will put little booties inside by the door. I'll put Lysol, and then after they leave, because I'll be there with them when they leave, then I'll clean it down for you too with the Lysol. Sound like a plan?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, great. It'll have its own website. And then we at Keller Williams have a wonderful, wonderful program called Command that we use to send out just listed, just sold, come visit me, whatever. And then on the open houses, I think it would probably be best, because of how you feel, is do the virtual open houses, okay? And
Okay.
this right here, well, I'll come to your home, and I show this. I walk the house. I tell them all about the house, and I might even go swimming. No, you don't have a pool. I forgot. I'm thinking about this house. So now, basically, you have any questions?
No, I mean, how fast, does this happen now? What?
Sure, we'll get into that. The process is I'll send the paperwork over for you to sign, listed at 325, and then I will order. Once I have that, it goes in MLS. But before that, I ordered the professional photos, the drone, and the 3D to be taken. And while that's being done, the sign will go up in the yard. Okay. And I'll be putting flyers together postcards together through our command. And you're talking about maybe 4 days after you sign it.
Oh, wow.
Because,
Okay.
yeah, I get the photographer there, then they get it back to me that same afternoon or the next day. And then I can plug it in and we can get it sold. So I'll send the paperwork over. Are you ready to sign that?
Well, are there any charges?
Oh, yes, there are. There's a commission, which I split with my broker. I use the money for marketing and any other, like the open houses and things like that. So it's 6%. And out of that, I'll pay a buyer's agent 2.5% minus the MLS fee. Sound good?
Okay. Okay.
I have a question.
Who is that?
I'm Lenny. I was just
Hey.
listening to the presentation. When you sell a house and you get a photographer or whatever you need to make the house look presentable, do you make a deal with them that they get their share at the end of the commission, or do they rather have the money paid up front?
I pay mine up front. Now, if you have a local photographer that you can have a personal relationship with, to personal business relationship with, to make that deal, then that would be great. But mine, I do it online. I order my, I put the order in online and then have it, they just come and show up and do it. So I pay for mine up front.
All right, thank you.
Certainly. But look for your photographer that's hungry, that does a good job, but that's hungry, and will let you pay him at closing. All he has to, yeah, I think all they have to do is he just has his bill. You turn it in with your DA, and either to come off your DA or it can come off from the title company can put it on the HUD, I believe. Closing statement, closing disclosure. Okay?
Sounds good. I don't know if you got to it yet, but when you do it, this is after you're speaking to the person who's the seller. This is after you speak to them and tell what you're going to do for them, correct?
The photos you're talking about?
Well, you already done the photo, but this is after you have talked to the seller, how you're going to represent them and what you can do for them.
Yeah, that's basically what I just did.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get your house sold, and this is how I'm going to get it sold. Now, Lisa, when she does hers, she'll go more in depth with hers.
Right.
But being a seasonal agent, this is what I do because I know what they're looking for. Number one, they want to know how much you can sell it for. And number two, what marketing are you going to do to get it sold?
Oh, okay.
And with your commission, that's just like you saw what I did. I just went up front with, I divide it with my broker. I do the marketing, and then I get a little bit in the end, basically.
Gotcha.
But you're putting that out there to them with hope they won't come back with anything else. Or we can just say it like Michelle says it. If somebody says something about the commission, we can come back and say, my commission is not negotiable. True. Our team leader, Michelle, does that. So keep that in mind because you're a business person. You're going to be spending money on these professional photos and the drone and the 3D. So know your worth, because putting a sign in the yard is, we put it in the yard, but it's not going to get the house sold. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Certainly. Any other questions?
Yes, Jackie, you said 6%, and then we tell them, and out of that 6%, 2.5 will go to the buyer's agent, and I'll pay that out of my 6%. And what was the other fee you said? The MLS, right?
MLS, right. And I put that on my listing. I put in the special clauses, I've got where I put that seller instructs me to pay a buyer's agent 2.5% minus the MLS fee of whatever.
Okay. And what do you usually use? What's kind of standard?
It all depends on the price of the house. On one this size, probably $395. If it's going to be somewhere between 150, 200, maybe $295, or even if it's 150, say to 180, maybe 195. I'm not in it to, you know, to charge other agents. I know how hard it is for us to make this money sometimes. So yeah, I want it to be reasonable. I saw a property the other day on the market for, I think it was $60,000, and they wanted $295 MLS fee. Ridiculous. Yeah.
I see.
Any other questions? Mine was short, sweet, to the point. I tell you what I was going to do. I tell you what we're going to price it for. I tell you what we're going to do, and now we get it done.
Jackie, I have a question.
I have a question. Go ahead.
Okay.
So I have one of my investors we're trying to list his house, but what do you do when there's not a house that's comparable, like to the one that we're trying to list? How do you comp it out?
That's a good question, because yesterday I just went on a listing appointment for a duplex, and I really had to do some detail work, and I can tell you, I know what it would be worth, you know. And she was thinking, I asked her, because I always ask sellers, I'm like, what were you thinking? What's your thoughts? What are you looking at, you know, to get out of it? And she's like, well, I know in some areas I've seen them 160,000, Hyde Park 260,000. And I was like, well, how about this area? What are you thinking? She's like, I'm thinking 260,000. And I walked around. I said, well, I can't agree with you on that because of the property itself. I said, I'm thinking probably 230,000. And that's just from experience, I feel like. And because you'll get to the point where you can pretty much look at a property and know, oh, you know, this isn't worth 50,000 or this is worth 350,000, you know, on some properties. Not all properties don't do that. But, you know, where's yours located, if you don't mind me asking?
It's in Spring Hill. It's huge. It's on an acre. It's over 4,000 square feet. And the only thing is it's probably going to be a cash buyer because there's no walls, like everything, no floors, no walls. Like they were going to demo it and rehab it, but now they don't want to put in the money. So they just want to get rid of it and liquidate some of their,
So basically you're looking at selling the land. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, the house is there. It's just like, you know, they would have to put all new drywall, things like that, all new flooring. They have to
basically redo it.
Yeah.
So I'd look at what the land cost up there and then what it would cost to build that same home back on the property. Maybe. That's a thought, just a thought.
Okay.
To look at it. Yeah. And whatever it costs to put it back on the market, I would take away from that because you're not going to get, you know, if it costs $400,000 to put it back on the market like a brand new home, basically, then I would deduct some from that because you're not going to get it, I don't feel like.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. What about the withdrawal fee? Do you charge withdrawal fee?
With the what? I'm sorry.
Withdrawal fee.
A withdrawal fee.
Oh yes, always. And there's a place there. I just do 500 unless it's a larger house, and I tell them, you know, once that sign goes up and I start marketing this house, if you withdraw it, then there is a $500 withdrawal fee.
Okay.
They don't seem to mind it.
Okay. And what if they are not agree with your price and they wanted to sell the house in 20 or 30,000 over your estimate price? Will you try to sell
No.
the house in that price, and then in 1 month, if it's not sold, you will go down to your price, or you will say no?
I say no, because you're going to spend money on it, on the pictures and all that kind of stuff, and then you're going to, it's going to be sitting there and they're going to be asking you why it's not selling. And this is from experience back in the day, you know, when you take an overpriced listing because, oh, I've got a listing, I got a listing. You don't want that. They price it at what you say, or what I might go over, like I was talking, go up maybe 5,000 because of negotiations, but I'm not going any more than that. When you do that, you're just setting yourself up for lots of headache.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Any more?
Yeah, Jackie, I just had a question. I see that you mentioned you charge an MLS fee. I also see on there a lot of people are charging the transaction coordinator fees. Do you recommend putting one or the other one there?
No, I don't know where you're seeing the transaction. Who am I talking to? I was trying to see here.
This is Katrina.
Oh, okay. I don't recommend putting a transaction fee on, oh, you're talking about on the listing presentation.
Yes.
Oh, on the listing presentation, oh, yes. I mean, on the listing paperwork, yes. And even on the buyer's addendum where there's a place, I put the $395.
Do you do both fees? Okay.
Well, the MLS fee is not, unless you write it in, is not on your listing paperwork, but I always write it in. So if somebody comes and I have them initial it, them being the sellers, because if somebody comes back and say, oh, you just paid me 3.5% and you got, 2.5, you got 3.5, then, well, here's where my seller told me to do that because I'm going to be marketing this house. You know, so you got it right there. Just make sure they initial it when you write it in.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, but I always put my transaction closing coordinator fee on there, but not on the MLS for any reason.
Got it. Thanks.
Sure. Anybody else?
Hi, Jackie, it's Frank. I had a question. What can we expect to pay for a photography professional and then the drone and 3D tour?
Yeah. Well, they're kind of all over the place. It all depends on who you get. Now, I've got a company that I work with that's out of Orlando, and I just go online. I ordered, if it's under 2,000 square feet, it's like $149 for the drone, for the 3D tour, and for the professional photos. And they're quick. You usually get them the next day. And then there's those that charge $385 just for the 3D tour. So you just have to jump around. Sorry?
Can you give us your lead on that if we want to use them?
I'll type in the box.
Yeah, sure.
That's a good price. Thank you.
Sure.
So that's $149.
If it's 2,000, if it's 2,000 to maybe 3,000, it goes up a little bit.
It's $199.
Yeah, and that's, you know, typical. You would expect that.
So that's for all three, $199, $149.
$149 for a home up to 2,000 square feet, and then a home over that, so the $199, and then up to whatever the next level is.
That is real good.
It is, and it's so easy. It is so blooming easy. Just go online, order it, and they show up.
Are you gonna send that out on an email to us, or?
I just typed it in the chat. Oh, actually, I did that privately. I'll do it to everyone right now.
It's gonna be in the chat. Do you know how to do the chat, Frank?
I see it right here.
Okay.
And you book them online. So look them up. They have a website and you book them online. You do have to pay for them ahead of time. I will tell you that at time of booking, you do have to pay them. So.
Yeah. And something I want to say, and I think it just went away for a minute. It'll come back shortly, I'm sure. Probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll think about it.
Don't call me.
No, I won't. I'm trying to think what I wanted to tell you. Oh, I know. And I think this is very important. And that is when you're talking to a seller or sellers, that you say, when we list it, when we do this, we will do this. Use that. You want them to feel like part of it. And then whenever you're talking about the house, don't say your home, say your house. And because home just has more of a warm, cozy feel, right, about it. So. Anything else?
Hi, Jackie, Daryl here.
Hey.
Love your presentation. On your virtual tour, was that from a new building, a new home, or was that one of your clients' homes?
That was a client's home. I sold her that home. It closed in January of 2018. And then she had a professional home decorator come in and decorate it. And I knew when I listed it, time they told me they wanted to sell, I had a buyer that I knew wanted it. Of course, it went on MLS and all that. I did all that. It's just I was fortunate enough to get it sold in 2 hours. So, and Michelle might say something different about that. I know she's on here. I just saw her.
I am. I was just on a phone call, so I'm sorry. I missed it.
Oh, that's okay. I was saying about the home across the street that I sold cash within 2 hours. It still went on MLS. However, it went on as 0 days on the market. But I'm still not sure what the ruling is on that, about how quickly you get it sold and if you sold it and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you can put it on for statistical purposes, and you just check with the MLS to make sure. But if you're acting as a transaction broker, you can list it, and I think for FSBOs too, but you have to really check with MLS for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions before Lisa gets started with her fantastic presentation?
Jackie, do you do any listing presentations where if you know the price is a little high, like 30K, that you might have them pre-sign a price adjustment?
I'm not going to take a listing that's 30K over what it needs to be. Because they're going to change their mind. They're going to change their mind. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I should probably clarify my question. Like, you know, if we don't have 3 to 5 showings in the first 30 days, or we're not getting second looks, and we're not, and the feedback doesn't validate the price, then we should maybe. I mean, I like to have them pre-sign an adjustment to the price 30 days after listing if we're not getting those items I just mentioned.
You can do that if you want to. I choose not to because it's going to cost me money and it's going to make me look bad, and then the price of the home's going to have to go down and people are going to think, what's wrong with it?
Right.
That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, that was an extreme case.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's 5,000, I'll do that. But I'm not going to take a 30. I learned my listing a long time ago.
Thank you.
And people talk. So those people that you didn't sell it, you listed it and you agreed to list it for 30,000 over, but you didn't sell it. And now you want them to reduce the price. And even though they said they would, they're not going to want to. They're going to say, let's give it a little while longer. And then you're going to end up having to fire them probably. Those are my thoughts. I'm a little hard on people, I guess. I love people, but you got to be realistic. This is your business. This is your business. So be realistic. Be smart. Be smart. Okay, we ready for Lisa?
I don't know. Well, this is what I normally do. Yay! That's me every morning. So Jackie asked me to come on with her because I I have a presentation that I do, and what I decided to do as a newer agent, I like taking everything to an extreme level. So what I decided to do is I called Jackie and I said, listen, I really want to get this listing presentation down. She's like, okay, well, what can I do? I said, nothing. And I just showed up at her house one day and I did a listing presentation on her home. So I had everything prepared. I did my PowerPoint. I did all the things that I would do with a client for Jackie in her home. And she played along with me, which was great. So what I'm going to show you is a little bit different because right now at this point in my business, I need to keep everything really, really organized because I'm trying to do so many things in a small amount of time. Jackie's obviously seasoned. I just hit my 1 year mark. So this is coming from somebody who has to really plan ahead because I need numbers behind me because I don't have the experience that Jackie does. Our office has the experience, but when I walk into somewhere, I want to make sure that I feel as I have prepared myself 100%. So to me, that starts off with all of my paperwork. And I'm going to show you guys everything that I have. I have a folder. Now, this is my folder that I take with me. And it has all the paperwork that I'm going to need them to sign. It also has my pre-listing walkthrough notes. And what that does is when I'm walking through the house, when I put my things down at the table, this is where I make notes of everything in the home. And that's what's going to go on the MLS. So I don't have to do it again later. I can take my measurements at that time also. And it just kind of gives me the information so that when we're talking about their home, it's right here in front of me because I need it to be there. Okay. I've already done research on the home. So I have their tax paperwork in my folder. I have my listing agreement. I have my addendum to the listing agreement. I also have my waiver for the MLS, just in case we're going to delay putting it into the MLS, and any other paperwork that I would need if they have an HOA in their community, things like that. And also the property disclosure. I have that here also for myself. Then in my little folder, I also print myself a calendar. So that way, when we're talking about pictures, when we're talking about when we're going to put the house on the market and when things are going to be done, I can circle dates for them. So people who are visual are going to be able to see when we're going to be doing things. Okay, so that's my folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and I'm going to show you exactly how I, okay, hold on, share. I've never done this before. Yay, there we go. Okay, so I have everything here, and of course it's hidden behind. I have everything here in my Google Drive that I've already preset in a folder. So I have, if you can see, I have Lisa seller paperwork, and that's where everything is for my folder that I take with me. Obviously, I need to make sure that my addendum and my listing agreement are up to date, which I do check that regularly. And then there's my pre-listing walkthrough notes, all of my checklists, and important dates and the calendar. So these are the things that I print out besides the tax information for that listing folder. Then I also bring with me, and I'm going to go over to this booklet. This is my seller's booklet. Now I do not hand this to them until after that listing agreement is signed, because why would I put all this work into it without them signing with me? And I have, see, a copy of the contracts there. I also bring copy of the contracts for them. So this just tells me, this has tips for showing your home, a moving checklist, move-in necessities. These are all of the things that I have in that folder that I'm going to hand over to them. Okay. How do I get back to you guys? Like I said, okay. Okay. I did it. I'm so excited. So, and then I have that in a folder like this. And so when they open it up, their name is in there. I have anything that they're going to have to fill out for me on the left-hand side. I call this the homework side. And that is the paperwork that I'm going to need from that seller for the listing. So all the different things, their mortgage loan payout, inspection stuff, if they purchase the house, and they have any leases on there, anything, showing instructions. I do a VIP questionnaire because that gives me their birthdays and it gives me a whole bunch of stuff on them and their 10 favorite features of the home. That way, when I'm writing out the MLS, it highlights what they love about the house because people who live in the house are going to know the best features of it. So those things are already prepared beforehand. I bring all of that with me, okay? Now onto my listing presentation, and I'm gonna share my screen one more time with you guys. Yay, I'm an expert now. So I'm gonna go back, and my listing presentation, I use a Chromebook. So my listing presentation, I make sure that it's downloaded onto my Chromebook before I go. So that way, all I have to do is set up my computer and show them the listing presentation. I'll go to their house. I'll take a picture of the front of the house to make sure that that's the picture on the front. And then this is the first page. So Jackie, do you want to role play this? And I could
Sure,
just...
you did so
Okay.
well with it before. Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's
and
do it.
you know me, I like when you kind of trip me up a little bit too. So,
Mhm.
so here we go. So I have Lynn and Mark Rubio on here, but Jackie, thank you so much for inviting me over. I would like to show you a few things within this custom consultation. I'm going to talk to you about marketing that I take care of. Also, how we're going to show your home, the different services that I'm going to try to make it the easiest possible process for you. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me anything along the way, okay?
Okay.
Fantastic. So tell me one more time, why are you listing your home?
We want to move back to Georgia and be with all the grandkids and great-grandkids.
I love Georgia. I
Yeah.
used to live there. I just love it there.
Yeah, I did too, but I love it here, but grandkids and kids come first.
Well, you know what? I totally understand that. And you can always come visit me. So
That's right.
we'll get you back here, at least for vacations, because we do live,
Thank you.
here in a place where people vacation. So let me just show you a couple things. Now, this first page, this is just a little bit about me. I'm not going to take your time with that today. If you'd like to read it, please go ahead and read it. But I want to get on to talking with you. Clear communication is completely important to me. If you need to get in touch with me, there's my cell phone. I also have my email on there. And there's also my office. So if for any reason you need to get in touch with me, you're more than welcome to reach out. One thing that I love is that Keller Williams it really is an industry leader. The training, the people, the culture is truly wonderful, and we want to make sure that we have a win-win deal for you. We always practice in integrity, and like I said, communication, teamwork, and trust are things that we pride ourselves on. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about the process, and like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. Right now, we're talking, we're at our initial meeting right now, which I'm super happy about. I just did the walkthrough, and we're going to talk about your needs analysis for selling the home. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sign that listing agreement so we can prepare your property for sale, staging, photography, and things like that. Now, as far as the coming soon campaign, things have changed a little bit within the real estate market. So if I'm going to advertise outside of my market center, that can only happen 24 hours before it gets listed onto the MLS. So you won't necessarily see anything, but I can talk to people in my office. And we have approximately 1,100 people within the 3 offices that my owners have. So your home will already be being talked about before it gets on the market.
Okay.
Then we're going to officially list your property. We have a just listed marketing campaign, and then we start showing your house, holding open house, and then we will talk about receiving and presenting offers. Any questions?
I don't want an open house. I don't want people coming in and out, especially my husband's so protective of me over this COVID-19. He's driving me crazy. He doesn't want me to go anywhere.
Well, I can
So,
understand that.
yeah.
He's trying to protect you. And guess what? There's something that I can do. It's called a virtual open house. Now, we are sitting here right now. Would you mind me coming into the house and talking to people about it and doing it virtually?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Can I
fantastic.
be there and talk to them? Can I be there with you and talk to them?
Well, I know that you really like to talk to people and you're super friendly, but it's best for people if they're trying to envision themselves as this home as theirs, they really want to create that picture by themselves.
Okay. I respect that. I respect that.
Okay, good. Well, as you can see, finding buyers these days, I mean, everybody does it over the internet. So we're going to make sure that we have a huge internet presence. One of the best things about Keller Williams is we do have apps, and we have KW listing system that anybody in the country is going to be able to see your home, not just on Zillow, not just on Realtor.com, not just on Redfin, but my app and all the apps of all the agents across the country. Anybody who has that app is going to be able to see the information on their phone about your home. If they're looking in this area, they can pull it up.
I don't like Zillow because I know they have that estimate, whatever that thing is,
yes,
that says what it's worth. And I've seen homes where it's been too low, and I don't want them to do that. Can you keep it off of Zillow for me?
Well, we could keep it off of Zillow. Now, Zestimates, it does say underneath there that it is just an estimate. It is just pulled up by numbers. But there are so many people who do go to Zillow. We don't want to rule out thousands and thousands of people who that might be the only way that they're looking for your home.
Good answer.
Oh, thanks. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page.
Okay.
We've already talked about a couple of these things. I'm just going to go through it a little bit quickly. Are you okay with me putting a yard sign in your yard?
Sure.
Fantastic, because anybody who's driving by is going to be able to see that sign and know that your home is for sale. And if they have the KW app, they can just click on it and they can find out all that information.
Okay.
Yes, I have 15 pages on Facebook that I will be blasting out as soon as the house comes to the market. Also, the virtual open house, I can do a Facebook Live during that time. So we're going to get a lot of internet presence on the home. Okay. Well, the first thing, as you can see, we want it well-researched pricing. So we want to make sure that we price the house correctly. Now, as you can see on this next page, the first thing says door knocking. Well, right now, during COVID, I don't know about you, but I don't really want anybody coming to my door and knocking. So right now, I'm really not doing door knocking. If this were pre-COVID time, I would definitely be doing something like that. But right now, I have not done any door knocking to people. That's why we're using the internet and getting it out there. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions so far?
Nope. Looking good.
Okay, fantastic. I'm missing a picture there. But these are the homes that are comparable to your home, okay? The 2 with stars are active and on the market. So they are your actual competition with the buyers, okay?
Okay.
The 3rd property is pending. So that means it's under contract at this time. So it was on the market and now it's off the market. And then you have 2 that are already sold. The reason why I pull solds, pendings, and actives is because that's what an appraiser is going to do when they come in. So we want to make sure that we price the home correctly. Okay.
Wow, that 450,000 sold for 390. Wow.
Well, you know, you always have to think about this. The pricing of the home is what the buyer is willing to pay for it, not what you're willing to list it as. So that's why it's imperative that we price it correctly in the beginning.
Okay, ours is very nice. We just put down new wood flooring. It's so homey and sweet.
Well,
Everybody's gonna love
fantastic.
our house.
You know what? I can just feel it. I can just feel it. So,
Oh, thank you.
so what we'll
Thank
do,
you.
you're welcome. So going over these, and my contacts are not working too well. Your home has a pool. So I had to pull a couple of different, we call them comparables, to make sure that I priced the home correctly with and without the pool. Okay. So there's a house, the top left, they have no pool. You can see how many days they've been on the market and what it's priced at. And then the one to the right, they do have a pool. And you can see how many days it's been on the market and what it's priced at. So it's quite a difference per square foot, the difference in the prices there. But we want to make sure that the square footage is pretty close to the square footage of your home, so we can really have a true comparable. The good thing is that you have enough in your area that we can pull this from. The pending one, as you can see, I took a little note. It has major ups in the downstairs, and I did true comp ? Because I know that you told me that you redid your floors and you have granite in your kitchen. So I wanted to look at that and go, okay, this is very comparable to your home. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then these other two houses, these are the ones that have sold. So we can see trends. We can see, okay, this one stayed on the market for 111 days. And sold just in July. Okay. So it sold for less than the list price. So it may have had to bring their price down because they weren't accurately priced in the beginning. That's most likely why it was on the market for 111 days.
Yeah, right.
Bottom, it was priced at 330. It sold for 322, but it was only on the market for 10 days. So we have to look at the pricing on that in the difference in the square footage price. Okay. That's why we want to price it right. We want to make sure we get the most amount of people into your home right in the beginning. So let me ask you, where do you see your house being priced at this time?
I'm thinking right at 350.
350. Okay. So let me. So when I look right here, and I see that the one that I put, your house is basically a true comp towards it, and it's been 2 days on the market. Your square footage is 2515, correct?
2554.
2554. Okay. So with going along with the true comp and going along looking at all the other houses, I do see that your house could be within a range, with 250 being right in the center of that range. Now the good thing is that if we price it at the 350, we're getting people who are looking up to 350, and we're also getting people who are looking from 350 and beyond. So having that nice solid number right there really puts us in a good place when it comes to trying to make sure that more people see your home. So are you comfortable with listing the home at 350?
Well, I tell you what, the agent that we interviewed before you, he told me that we could probably list it around 365, 375. So, I mean, that sounds pretty good. That's like 20,000, 25,000 more. So, I don't know, even though I said 350, what he told us looks pretty attractive. I just thought I didn't know what I was doing, because I'm not a real estate agent.
Sure, definitely. Well, let me ask you this. Looking at these homes and looking at the one that I had you as a true comp because it had a beautiful downstairs, it had granite in the kitchens, is well maintained. Do you believe that your house would be comparable to that?
Oh, with the beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Do you see that this house that is pending, it was 2 days on the market?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So with that being said, that was the square footage per square footage that it was priced at. Okay, which brings you to right in between 350 and 355. Now, I totally understand wanting to get more money for your home, but when the numbers are showing me what an appraiser is going to be looking at, pricing it too high. For instance, say somebody decides, okay, I want to place an offer on that home, and this is the $370,000, and then we get to appraisal, and appraisal comes back at 350. Your house has already been off the market for a number of time, and we're going to have to negotiate, because who wants to pay for something $20,000 more than what it is showing to be worth?
But couldn't we put it on the market for that and hope to get a cash buyer, and then they wouldn't have an appraisal?
You know what? You could, but the amount of cash buyers as compared to people who have conventional loans, FHA loans, VA loans, I think you're actually in an area to do a USDA loan. So you're cutting out all those groups of people just for cash buyers.
Oh.
And in reality, people who have cash, they want a deal.
Okay.
Okay. So like I just said it a couple minutes ago, we could get all of those people up to 350, and then all of those people who are looking from 350 and beyond. We want to make sure that things are priced accordingly right off the bat, because 2 days on the market is a lot better for you than 111 days on the market, correct?
Well, yes.
So I truly want to talk to you and have you think about if we want to keep it on the market for a long time, or if we want to go ahead and make sure that it's priced accordingly to sell quickly.
No, we want to get it sold because we want to get to Georgia. If we're going to do it, I want to do it and get it behind me.
Well, yes, you do. You want to get to those grandkids and be with family. So I totally understand.
That's right. That's the most important.
So where do you think that you would be priced right now with that conversation that we just had? With knowing that this house, oops, sorry.
Okay, so you said between 350 and 355?
Correct.
So what if we listed at 355, since you mentioned that, and then if we have to negotiate any, we got a little room to negotiate down to 350.
And I totally understand that.
Okay, what do you think about that?
Well, that is a great thought process, but just like I told you a couple minutes ago, do you want all those people who are looking up to 350? Because what people do is they go through these stages of how many dollars they want to spend. So they'll go up to $300,000. They'll go up to $325,000. They'll go up to $350,000. So the sweet spot is right around that 350. So you're going to get all of those people who are on this side of things and also on this side of things.
Oh, okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that we should list it at 350. Is that correct?
Around 350 would be a great area for you. Obviously, it is your decision. I'm just trying to make sure that you're thinking in the way that of real estate and not just.
Yeah. Well, if it was my decision, I'd probably do what that other agent said and go to 375. But what you're telling me is totally different. So I think we want to sell. We don't want to stay on the market. So I'm thinking that what we need to do is probably put it at 350.
Well, I'd be happy to write that in so we can get it onto our listing agreement. So that way when we're ready to sign, it's already there. So 350?
Yeah.
Okay, great. writing it in.
Now, we haven't talked about any closing costs for us as the sellers,
Correct.
and we haven't talked about commission. Now, can we ask that a buyer pay our closing costs?
You can ask that. It's something that I would want to put on the MLS to make sure that buyers agents see that, because that's not a typical practice.
Oh,
Because in reality, buyers' closing costs are a lot more than the actual closing costs, the title search and things like that for a seller. So as a seller, through title, you have less cost, but you have the commission of the agents for the buy and the listing of the house. So it does work out, and I won't say evenly, but on the buyer side, there are more closing costs because they have lender's fees, they have things like that. Whereas as a seller, you have less title costs, and then you also have the agent's fees to think about.
so what is your commission?
6%.
Well, 6% of 350. Wow, you can make a lot of money there, young lady.
Well, hold on just
would
a
you do it
second.
for 5? Would you do it for 5?
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So, you know what? I'm a very are you a visual person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm a visual person too. So let me do this. Let me grab this real quick. Okay, so here are my 6 envelopes. Okay, I have 6 envelopes here. You see those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going to take these and split it up. You ready?
Yeah.
That's 3 envelopes is gone. That's going to go to the buyer's agent. Okay,
Oh,
so we already
okay.
have
I
3
will.
envelopes, 3%, that's gone. Okay, now here's 3 more percent. I'm going to take this one right here. That's going to go to my office. It's going to my broker because I do need to take care of my office. So that's that. And then I have these 2 here. And what these 2 are is Uncle Sam, marketing, and feeding my family. So let me
They
ask
have
you
to
again.
eat.
I
they
have
have
a
to
hockey player. I have a hockey player son. So out of these 2 envelopes, this is marketing your home because I'm going to be paying for all of your pictures. I'm going to be paying to put ads on Facebook for you, and feeding my family. Which one do you want me to take money away from? It's a pretty hard decision, isn't it?
It is. I can't say.
That's awesome.
That's really hard for me to decide also.
That is so remarkable. That is great.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So,
I don't want
you
your
know,
youngins. How many children do you have? I don't want to go hungry.
Yeah, I have 2 kids. I have 2 children, and they're both in competitive sports. So you know they eat.
Oh. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Does anybody have any questions about that part?
You did amazing. Oh my
strong.
goodness.
That is strong. I love that. So everybody get your envelopes to take with you.
Or I'll use Michelle's and say, it's just not negotiable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what? I used to be a super couponer. I always want a deal. I really, really do. But when somebody breaks things down for me and says, like, I know that you think that I'm walking away with thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm not. So here we go. This goes to the other person. Bye. It's gone. It's not mine. And a lot of people need a visual of, okay, here's the money now. This goes to my broker. I don't have that anymore. So are you going to take from me marketing your house, or are you going to take from me feeding my family and taking care of my home? So
That would be bad.
I got a question for you.
What's up, Lenny?
She mentioned that she already had someone looking at her house pay for $375.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she said, well, he said he offered to do 5%, do you still stick to your commission and say, I'm not willing to compromise my commission?
You know what? It all depends. It depends on the situation. It really does. It depends, for me personally, it depends on if we're going on a buying side also. Because if I know that we're going on a buying side also, maybe I personally would, because then I'm going to have 2 deals out of it. But I would have them sign that buyer's agreement right then and there to do that.
And think about it too, if the other agent said he would do 5% and you are at 6%, and so I ask you to do 5%, then my question would be back to, as an agent, my question would be back to the seller. So what is he not doing? What is he taking away from the marketing? You know?
Right.
And another thing that I've also found too is I went up against somebody who they had offered 4.5% to sell the home, and I said to the people, I said, okay, you know, so is there a team of people who are going to be helping you? Oh yeah, they're on a team. I said, well, you know what? The difference is I'm your fiduciary. I am your person, and I want to make sure that I take care of you during this process.
Cool.
And I did not go to 4.5%, and I got the listing. So
well, there's lots of agents. Like I just saw a broker coming back from Spring Hill the other day that she's got it up on a big billboard, 2%. Now that, and I know her, and I've had respect for her in the past years, but now I'm like, she's a discount broker. She just titled herself a discount broker, which to me is not good to do that. This is a profession. We're professionals. We're not here to give away the house. You know what I know?
Right. Jackie, I'd like to do some input. The commission in this case was 6%. That would end up being like a $3,500 to the agent at 6%. And, I've come across some sellers that will say, well, if you only did 5% like the other agents offered, and that 1%, and you're talking 6 envelopes, well, you divide that by 6, you're really only talking about $584. Is that a deal buster for you not to take this listing? So they put it back on me. Just FYI, I've come across.
So how did you handle that? Did you do the envelopes like that? Is that what you're saying?
I ended up not taking the listing, and another agent in the office did what I just told you. But she was very savvy in getting the listing, which she was smarter than me. I was just this couple years ago, and I admired her for what she did, but she wouldn't tell me everything she did, but I figured it out and was able to overcome those objections. And what I do now is basically I say, well, would you like to have that extra $584 go towards your marketing to get out to more buyers and to cover all my fees for marketing, time, material, gas, signage, videotaping, photography, MLS fees? Or would you rather not have that additional marketing?
What do you want to take away? If you want me to do this for this amount of money, then I'm not going to be able to do this. There's not going to be a 3D tour. There's not going to be this. And there's not going to be this. We'll put it on MLS and put a sign in the yard.
Right. There's just sellers out there like that, and I've come across some. And you can be right, but you have to let them be right sometimes. To take
if they're right. If they're right. Do you want to take a listing that's going to cause you headaches? And you're not going to walk away with any money, because I'm going to tell you, those that you discount your commission for, especially like the 4.5%, you go down that low, then they've already lost respect for you because you didn't stand up. Like where Lisa stood up and she said this, 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 and this.
Yeah, I'm actually
so
not calling it commission.
Stand up for the business, stand up for the profession, and stand up for yourself. What are you worth? Are you worth $584? Or are you worth $3,500 or whatever, Think about that. And I know we want the business, we want the business, we want the business. Back in the past, anytime I fell for what the seller wanted, it always was a problem. And my thing is walk in with confidence. If you do that, they can tell that you're confident. They can tell that you know what you're talking about. And that is strong.
And practicing your scripts, practicing with those other people, you know, and having hard objections. I tell Jackie all the time, Jackie, throw them at me, because I want to hear the most ridiculous stuff from anybody. So that way, when I get there, I've heard it before. I have somebody who's going to do that with you.
Yeah. And how many of y'all do practice your scripts every day? How many? Hello.
I do.
I'm not seeing any faces.
I know. Jackie doesn't like it when she doesn't see faces.
I don't like looking at a black box.
I didn't know that people were still doing that. I've tried. I haven't been able to find anybody to practice scripts with, except in Miami.
Well, have you asked?
I have. I guess I haven't asked the right people. So if anybody's interested on this call to practice scripts, my name is Daryl, and
why don't you put it in the chat and then give them your email address or phone number?
Yeah,
Thank
because Daryl is you the script king, duh. You're the script king. We all need to be learning from you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Somebody, the actress Gigi, asked, how do you approach it if you are also the selling agent and renegotiating the commission, meaning you represent the seller and the buyer? And I think you kind of hit on that, Lisa, did you?
I think I did.
If they ask you to do a better commission if you do both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and my thing is, you know, if they are going to want to buy also, and you do decide to discount your commission, just make sure that you get that buyer's agreement signed, and because that's their commitment to you as you are committing to them. So
right, they're wanting you to lower your commission. So
I have a question for you.
That. Yep. Okay.
I have a question for you, dear. Because nobody's asked it yet.
Go Giggles.
If you're on both sides of the transaction, if you're this listing agent and the buyer's agent, do you discount your commission?
We just talked about that. Did you not hear?
Did you? I thought I didn't hear it, but I mean, I heard if they're buying from you portion, if you're the listing agent and your seller's also buying with you, but what if you're the listing agent and somebody comes to your open house?
Transactional.
You're also the buyer's agent on the listing.
I do. I'll tell you up front.
So
I
do you discount?
Okay, I couldn't hear that.
I think she said, do you discount for the seller because you're the transactional broker then?
Okay, do you discount for the seller?
Well, do you discount because you're on both sides, if you bring a buyer to the listing, are you going to then discount from the 6% because you're taking both sides? I think that's what
I go
she's
to 5%. I'll go to 5%.
I do both, some 5% or 6%.
You do both?
Okay, so Frank. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. It's a little different topic. If you in your walk through, you see that the house need some repairs, some updates or something. How do you approach that without make the seller run away?
Well, the seller already knows they need to make those repairs. You're saying if you are walking the home and you see things that you think need to be repaired or just needs to be decluttered or whatever. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, I just tell them. I mean, this is what I walk through the house with them and say, okay, if you want to sell the home, this is what you need to do. I just fired a seller because I had walked the home and told her what they needed to do, and she assured me they did it. I take a prospective buyer, and you cannot even see the countertop. Nothing had been done. So I texted her and said, hey, we need to take the home off the market until you can get this cleaned up. And I said, even the buyer saw the little roaches run across the floor. And he did, and he told me he did. And she's like, well, we live here. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to live like that. But anyway, she's like, well, I said, get a pod and put all that stuff in it. Just clear it out, except for some of the furniture. She's like, well, we can't afford that. And so she's like, if you don't want to list it, you just take it off the market. I'll get somebody else. I said, I will send you over the cancellation. And I did, because the next person, and she did list it with somebody else, and on the photos and realtor marks, the agent put, pictures look so much better than the actual home.
Oh, wow.
And that was a Keller Williams agent in another office, not in our office. But she did. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that.
Yes,
But,
I am, because I had the situation with the seller. Well, I was in the listing presentation, and I walked through the house. The house need a little love. And I was telling her, but she was in a very difficult situation. She was in the middle of her divorce, and she didn't have any money to fix the house. So I noticed that when I start talking with her about that repairs, she was like coming down. And in the end, she didn't list with me. And I think that she get, I don't know, scared, that she say, no, it's too much thing that she's telling me to do, you know? So I'm now a little like, what to do in the next time that I see a house that needs a little love, and how can I, approach that without lose my client?
well, if they're not willing to clean it up, and like she told you, or repairs, like she told you, you were telling her too much stuff to do, is that right? Then what's it going to be like the whole time you have that listing? And whatever the photos look like, when people go in and see the home, it's going to reflect on you. When I look through MLS and I see some of the photos in there, I look to see who the agent is. And I'm like, oh, shucks. It's a reflection on them. I'm like, they don't care much about their business or about keeping a house clean. Nothing. It reflects on them, plain and simple. So you've got to get it in your head. I know you want listings, but you've got to get it in your head. If your seller's not going to listen to you, and just like she just told you, you were telling her, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. Now, if it's repairs that need to be done and she doesn't have the money to do it, then you can say, well, what if you give them a credit at closing for whatever's wrong with the house? So much for carpet or so much for this. If she's not willing to make it. And if she's not willing to do any of that, I say, let her go.
Okay.
Jackie, we have a couple things in the chat. It said, Lisa, where did you pull the listing presentation from? Command. That's Command. I just don't use all the pages. I use the pages that suit me, and I change them. And then I keep one with just my information on it, and then I just change the picture, I change the information, and I change the comparables page. So to answer your question, Command has a lot of great stuff, guys. So that one comes from Command. And then you mentioned the buyer agreement signed. Is that from the listing side in DocuSign? No, that would be on the buyer side in DocuSign. So it would be the buyer's brokerage agreement between you and the client, to make sure that if you are discounting, that you already have them signed with you as their buyer's agent. So that's in DocuSign on the buyer side.
Right.
Anything else?
She said, do you prefer that over the cloud CMA comparables presentation? Beatrice Gigi asked that question. Do you prefer that over the cloud CMA comparables? I guess she's talking about your presentation. Is that right, Beatrice? Over the CMA comparable presentation?
Hi, yes.
Over the cloud-based CMA.
Very
one of
similar.
the
What's on command with what I was able to create from Cloud CMA. So I don't know what all else I should be adding or maybe taking away, or are they two different things?
Well, I mean, everybody has their own, listing presentation that they do. I personally don't want to recreate a wheel. I have too many other things that I'm focused on right now, especially as a new agent. So whatever you're most comfortable with, whatever you're using, hey, if it gets the information to the people, that's great for you. Use what you can. I use the one from Command because I think it's pretty and it goes into a PowerPoint presentation, and I like PowerPoints. So
yeah. And not only that, you take your computer with you and do that PowerPoint, then that shows people that you are up on technology.
Yeah, the Cloud CMA, it also does not only a PDF, but it also does a live slideshow. Like it's
fantastic.
got both options.
That's great. That's awesome.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything different, or maybe I should pull something in addition to from Command to include.
Well, they have a lot of great pictures in there that you can use in your presentation.
Thanks.
Sure. Well, Miss Jackie, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I hope that it's been beneficial to you guys to see two different styles of presentations and get to know your clients. Even look them up on Facebook. That'll help you tell what kind of personality they have. Use Truth Finder to find your people you're going to see, your sellers, and get to know them by way of Google them, and just get to know them. And that way you'll know how and which presentation to use.
And another reminder, just for people who are newer and maybe they haven't gone on a listing presentation, make sure that when you're presenting, everybody who's going to be making the decisions within that household is there. You don't want to do the listing presentation twice because you're going to do it great that first time. You're so prepared, your adrenaline's going. Make sure that all the people who are making the decisions are there at that time, or it's a waste of time.
Jackie, would you guys be doing a buyer's presentation class as well?
I could. I don't think I'm the best to do a buyer's presentation simply because I don't work with that many buyers. I'll be happy to tell you what I know, but I know there was one this past week or last week with a team leader over at GovSite, I think it was.
Yep, Jackie, I'm just gonna pop in right here. Jackie, this is Amber. Y'all, Sandy Doherty in the Gulfside office did her buyer consult on Thursday, and I believe it was recorded, and it should go up on the Ubaldini Group YouTube channel. So you should be subscribed to that. We'll also have this recorded. That'll go up onto YouTube as well.
Great, thank you.
Okie dokie. Everybody know how to do it now? Everybody's gonna go do it now?
Go get them.
And we are here to help if we can. And also, Lisa and I are on the productivity, and Tammy too, and Jennifer Hernandez and Yale are on the productivity committee, and Dinah. And so if anybody that wants to join us and help us. It's about education. What do we need? We'll be working closely with Michelle and the two coaches, two Mike, on what to bring to the office, whether by Zoom or in person. And what do you want to learn, no matter how big or how small, how to handle a situation. That's what we are looking at, so that you'll be prepared, you know. So, and if anybody wants to be on a committee or any classes you want to see, let us know.
I have one more question.
You go right
This
ahead.
is Lenny.
Lenny.
And
Hey.
with the COVID-19, the coronavirus, is everything now being like virtual or doing it on the internet? Are we still allowed to meet the seller or buyer face to face?
Yeah, I think that's a decision between you and the buyer or the seller as to what you want to do.
Okay.
If you have a seller or a buyer that's real fearful, then of course you want to do it by Zoom or something like that. Lisa,
right.
you got something to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, for my last listing presentation, I did go to the house. I did ask them if they, you know, obviously, I had my mask on. I asked them if they wanted me to put gloves on. I asked them if they wanted me to take my shoes off. So I think that if you're comfortable going someplace, then do it. And if you're not, then do it virtually. So it's all in for you and for your buyers or sellers.
All right. Thank you.
Well, Jackie, it was awesome doing this with you. Thanks everybody.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you both for taking time to do this for us. It was awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and
We
put my
love it.
email into the information box. If anybody needs anything, you're more than welcome to get in touch with me.
Because you're not busy at all, are you, Lisa?
I'm not. I'm not. But I'm not in the carpool line right now. I am not in the carpool line. So
That's right.
Lisa and Tammy and Dinah. Remember yesterday we had our meeting. I was saying let's put together the forms and put them in a book, put them in the office. This morning at 5 o'clock, my eyes popped open. I'm like, that's so old school. Put them on our Facebook page.
There are people who like papers, though. They like their papers.
I know, they can print it out.
Great job, ladies. Great job.
Enjoyed it. Thank y'all for letting us do this. We hope you got something out of it.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.